that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like I ain't.
Peace, family. Welcome back to the Campaign TV show. I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and tonight we're going to be discussing a very sad situation that took place a few days ago in Lancaster, Texas, I believe, where a youth football coach was shot and killed during a Little League football game, family. A Little League football game where it's supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be a place where you are able to come and you're able to enjoy family time, sports, fellowship, that turned out into an all-out shootout, family. So we're going to be discussing that tonight. And, man, I want everybody who is tuned in right now, I need you to subscribe. I need you to share. I need you to like. I need you to smash the like button, family. What's going on? I'm here to learn what's popping, family. I need y'all to do all of those different things so that we can get the buzz up. I need y'all to do all of those different things so that we can get the numbers up, family. But we're going to be discussing this because it's very, very important. I think it's important because, you know, when you look at Little League football, it is a pillar in the community. When you look at Little League football, it's a pillar in the community, and it's really a shame that this had to happen. So I want to share my screen so that we can go ahead. I can pull the article up. And as I pull the article up, we're able to, read what took place. Hold up. I want to do that. Why is this in my way? All right, so here's an article from People magazine. And it says, beloved youth football coach is killed during game and suspect is opposing coach whose brother was NFL star. So if you don't know any of the names, Aqib Talib is a former star in the NFL. His position was cornerback. I think he went to 4 or 5 Pro Bowls. Aqib Talib was official out there on the field. Well, his brother is a coach for the opposing team of the coach that was shot, and Aqib Talib's brother is actually the alleged shooter. Okay, so it says police say 43-year-old youth football coach Mike Hickman was allegedly shot to death by 39-year-old Yaqub Talib, a coach on the opposing team and brother of ex-NFL star Aqib Talib. A disagreement between 2 youth football coaches in Texas allegedly led to a deadly shooting during a game Saturday evening. According to Lancaster Police Department news release, 43-year-old football coach Mike Hickman was allegedly shot to death by 39-year-old Yaqub Talib, a coach on the opposing team and brother to ex-NFL player Aqib Talib. Police said the shooting happened just before 9 p.m. at a community park in Lancaster, a city about 15 miles outside of Dallas. Witnesses told police a disagreement between the opposing coaching staff of 2 youth football teams over calls made by the officiating crew led to a physical altercation, then escalated, prompting Talib to shoot Hickman multiple times, the release reads. Talib allegedly fled the scene while Hickman was pronounced dead at the hospital. Talib faces a single count of first-degree murder, according to police. So this is where we are when it comes to Little League football. This is where we at with it, family. And I want to also pull up this too, because this helps bring clarity to it as well. This is an article. I mean, this is going to be a news clip from Fox News. This helps bring clarity to it as well. And then I'm going to talk about some of the different things that go on, not only in Little League football, but Little League basketball and everything. So smash that like button, family. Let's
An
smash
argument
that like
at a youth football game ended in the...
All right, smash that like button. Smash that like button. All right, and make sure you subscribe so that you can stay notified each and every time that we go live for our podcast, all right? So check this out. Listen to the news report about the situation that happened.
Shooting death of one of the coaches. Good evening, I'm Blake Hansen. It happened this weekend in Lancaster, just south of Dallas. Mike Hickman, coach of the Dragon Elite Academy, was killed. The person police are looking for is Yaqub Talib, the brother of former NFL star Aqib Talib. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager joins us now with the latest. Peyton.
Blake, and today we're learning more about the youth football coach who was shot and killed, Mike Hickman. Friends and family tell me he was a husband and a father. Tonight, Lancaster police are still searching for the man they believed killed Hickman. A youth football game in Lancaster ended with gunfire Saturday evening. This video of the shooting sent to TMZ. Parents and children at the community park scrambled to safety. One of them, CJ Bivens, and his 9-year-old son.
I seen the fire come from the gun, and I just broke and I hollered for my son. I just hollered for my son and trying to, make sure my son was all right.
Bivens says he looked back to see his son's coach, 43-year-old Mike Hickman, lying on the ground. Hickman later died at the hospital. Kerry Lewis is also the team's coach.
We shouldn't be up here hurting like this because of a Little League football game.
Lancaster police say Yaqub Talib shot and killed Hickman. Lewis tells Fox 4 Hickman's son is on the team.
And his son witnessed him get shot down, murdered, on the field.
Lewis and Heath Mays coached alongside Hickman Saturday for Dragons Elite Academy when they say the opposing team's parents and coaches became angry.
They were just upset about losing, and dude came on the sideline, somebody gonna punch the referee, so the referee called the game.
In this video obtained by TMZ, you can see a man in a North Dallas United t-shirt arguing with the referees. According to Lancaster police, shortly after the disagreement with the refs, the two coaching staffs got into a physical fight. That's when investigators say Talib opened fire.
No one should come to a 9-year-old's game and be fearful for their life or be fearful of my son might get shot while he's playing football. Come on, y'all. This has to stop.
Talib is the only suspect named by police. Talib is the brother of former NFL cornerback Aqib Talib. Witnesses tell Fox 4 Aqib Talib was also at the game when the shooting took place.
These kids are innocent. They shouldn't have to witness what they witnessed last night.
Sunday, Hickman's players and their parents grieved together, now left heartbroken.
That he was a genuine person. He was a loving person. He was a father first.
Again, Talib is still not in custody tonight. He does have a criminal history. Back in March, he accepted a plea bargain for an assault charge back in 2017. And then in June, just a few months ago, he was picked up in Plano for unlawful possession of a firearm. Now, I reached out to Talib's attorney, who confirms he represented Talib in the past. He says he has no comment. He would not tell me if Talib has reached out to him since last night or where Talib may be. Blake, back to you.
All right, family. So,
Roofers are furious about this new product that's going.
So, so that's where we at. And if you, like myself, played Little League football or Little League basketball, right? These situations is not what people sign up for when they think to bring their children out to a Little League football, basketball, or any type of sporting event to play and participate, right? So shout out to Sister Melanin Love. Wa alaikum salam. I am feeling better. Yes, it's just sad and outrageous, and this is why we need to learn to control our emotions. It's exactly where I was going, sis. It's exactly where I was going because, we have to come to a better place when it comes to our emotions. And I want to talk to those tonight about the impact of parents in Little League sports, because this is not something that's new. Now, I have daughters who cheer at a lot of football games, basketball games. And as I sit in the stands, I'm able to hear a lot of the things that the parents are saying. A lot of the things that the parents are either saying to the coach or a lot of the things that the parents are saying to the referees. I've heard about different things because I have friends who are parents who have children who play Little League sports. And some of the things that they talk about that go on in these sports leagues is something I never heard of. Not when we was growing up. Not when we was playing Little League sports. It's one thing to talk about the money and all of that type of stuff, but it's a whole different thing entirely where you talk about the parents who show up to these games and are living vicariously through their children, whereas they become so emotionally charged that they want to literally physically do harm to coaches, coaching staffs, and officiating crews. And at that point, it's not that deep. So from what I've been hearing a lot of is that this has actually been something that a lot of those who are in Little League sports circles inevitably thought that would happen. They thought something like this could possibly happen because of probably the near misses that they had in their own situations. They done probably seen things that done went down at football games and basketball games where it could have escalated and got out of control. It just didn't happen. Somebody didn't pull the trigger, or somebody might have shot in the air. Like, you've had things that happened and built up to this particular situation that ended up happening in this instance where somebody was actually shot and killed. But a lot of Little League parents know, either been a part of, know of, heard of situations like this going down, fights breaking out, all of that kind of stuff. And it's like, where is our minds at? Because think about it now. This wasn't somewhere where two adults got over a disagreement about a Little League football game at a store, or somewhere where it was just the adults around and it went back. There was children at this game. There was two teams full of children there. There were other parents there with their children, and somebody opens fire. Somebody opens fire during the game. So not only do you shoot and kill the coach, but just say you decided that you was going to open fire. You could have shot somebody's mother. You could have shot and killed any of the teammates of the opposing team, somebody on your team. You could have shot somebody, other child that was out there. Like, there's so many different things that could have happened because of this particular situation that we have to think about, okay, moving forward, what is going to be some solutions that can prevent this from going on? Now, I was watching a clip earlier where they was discussing some different things, and it was a panel of different individuals that was talking about some different solutions that could, be possibly used in order to stop this going on, because nobody, like they said, goes to a Little League football game and is thinking that it's an unsafe environment. People bring all of their children to a Little League football game. If you got a son that's playing in a game, you bring his brothers and his sisters to come and cheer him on. So how is it now that you go to these games and you got people out here that got guns, and you afraid that if the coach get into it with the parent that somebody might get shot, shots may ring out? At a Little League football game, it's really getting out of hand. The parents are getting out of hand, to whereas, I know they even shooting highlight tapes and doing all this kind of stuff as if the children going to the league straight out of Little League football. As if they got scouts from the LA Rams, the Atlanta Falcons, the LA Raiders, the Dallas Cowboys sitting up here at any of these Little League football games. As if they got scouts out there looking for any of these players to come and recruit them and play for their team. And forget the pros, as if they got scouts from LSU, Texas A&M, Florida, USC, or anything like that, Virginia Tech, as if any of them scouts is coming to sit down at a Little League football game and look at any of the players that's out there. But you got parents that are literally arguing and fighting and bickering and doing all type of just over-the-top stuff for their children as it pertains to football and their athletic career, like they getting ready to go to the league right then and there. It's not even possible. Not even possible. So we really got to think about what we got going on, family. Really got to think about what's going on. I mean, people are so invested in the Little League where they have no shot to go to the big league at that point in time, just off of their inexperience, their age, body not being fully developed, none of that stuff. But parents acting like that they getting college highlight tapes to be able to send to these schools for their child to have an opportunity to make it on the pro level. So it's really ridiculous now, because this brother, who was a pillar in the community, because not only was he a football coach, but he had a son who obviously looked up to his father. He was in his son's life. So that's a trauma. His son watched his father be murdered. That's trauma. Right in front of his eyes, he's seen his father get shot to death. That's traumatic. So now that impacts his son. But not only did it impact his son, his biological son, it impacted the rest of the football team, who he was like a dad to, who he fathered in his ability to coach. See? In his longing to impact the community, in his desire to help change the youth and get them out of violent situations, away from gangs, away from guns, he bring them into football just for them to witness his murder at the hands of the exact thing he was trying to keep them away from. So in their mind, they like, damn, whether I play football or I'm out here on the street corner in a gang, I still can't escape gun violence. Still can't escape the violence that haunted people many, many years and has affected the community so heavily. We come and look at sports as an escape. That's what the black community does. We look at sports as an escape, as a way out, to get away from violence, to get away from those negative influences. And here it is now, them negative influences found their way on the football field. So the whole football team is affected. All them children that's on the football team are affected by this particular incident. Because he wasn't just a father to his own biological son. He was a father to all of those boys that was on that team. You don't know how many of those boys depended on him to pick them up for practice. How many of them depended on him to be able to get them food after practice. You don't know what the bond was between him and his athletes. See, and his players. You don't know how he was affecting them, how many he was mentoring, how many he might have been helping do homework with, helping them and encouraging them to stay in school. You don't know the impact of what he was doing. And for him to be cut down, not just by somebody in the street, but an opposing football coach. Because the shooter was the coach on the other side. He was the coach on the other side for the other team. So how they looking at they coach shot and killed somebody. So the same thing that he preaching to us about staying out the streets, staying out the gangs, he literally goes out here and kills somebody. In front of the children. No shame. No shame. He ain't go do it on his off time. He didn't go do it when, he wasn't coaching. He did this. He did this in the game. In front of everybody. Yes, ma'am. My prayers and condolences go out to the family. Mine's too, sis. Mine's too, because it's just a tragic situation. That's really unnecessary, uncalled for. Uncalled for. Didn't need to happen. This is one of those situations that was 125% preventable. Like, there's no way to explain it. So for Aqib Talib's family, look how it affects that family. Look how it affects Aqib Talib. He's just there. I don't know if he was a coach or not, but he's there, whether he's supporting or he's coaching. And then this happens. His brother does this, allegedly. And now they got his name in the news. They got his face plastered up there. The headline saying, video title saying, Aqib Talib's brother. So now they asking Aqib Talib about what's going on. He like, bro, I don't know what's going on with my brother like that. I don't know why he would do something like that. And then their whole family affected by the whole thing. Because obviously they want to support their family member, but they like, well, damn, how do I come to your defense in this situation? Because it was totally uncalled for. Completely and totally uncalled for. Based on the video, it's really hard to have any type of defense based on the video. Now, maybe it'll come out later on something different, but based on the video, nobody posed any threat or immediate danger to your life that requires you to use excessive force. So the same way that we get on these police for shooting unarmed black people, and we say that he didn't pose a threat, he did what he was asked to do, his hands was visible, all of those different things that we say justifies the police not using excessive force. When they violate that, we on them about violating excessive force. Well, the same thing has to apply in this situation and many other situations, but this one in particular, where the victim was not in threat. He did not pose immediate danger to the shooter. But yet still, he didn't shoot one time. He didn't shoot twice. When you hear the video, he shot, I believe they say 5 times. So this possibly could be something a lot deeper than just an argument at a football game. But we don't know. I'm just saying, for you to go out, shoot a man 5 times in front of 80 plus children at a little league football game, no regards for parents, for children, for anybody else who may be there, your position as a coach, your football team, any of that stuff did not matter to you at that particular time where you thought it was okay to pull out a weapon and start firing. So that type of behavior is indefensible. You can't defend that. Unless you're completely insane. And if you are insane and you're going to roll with the insanity plea, then one has to now wonder how you even became a coach in the first place. And look at, okay, what are some measures in place to help us be able to vet those who decide that they want to coach? Because if you have mental issues, you should not be out here coaching. And more importantly, you should not be in possession of a weapon if you have mental issues. So that's a conversation for another day. But look, I want y'all to check this out, because in this news clip, they actually go into some solutions. So I found this and I thought this was important. So let me pull this up And I appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. This is your host, Brother King Cam, and welcome to the Campaign TV show. Tonight we are discussing the Texas youth football coach who was shot and killed at a Little League game. And we discussing a lot of the repercussions from what took place and what happened. Because it's really out of hand. And then when you talk about these parents at these football games, man, you talking about something that is a whole nother situation. Because a lot of these parents are out of hand. A lot of these parents are out of hand. And they are the ones that are really causing a lot of this, what you see going on. Honestly. They're the ones that's causing a lot of this, what you see going on. So I'm going to pull up this article. I'm going to pull up this clip so that we can go ahead and listen to that. But before I do that, I want to drop this record by Brother Ben X. It's called 400 Years. I'm going to, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some promoting. We're going to share this out. I want everybody to take the opportunity, those who are tuned in, to share this YouTube out link to anybody who may be interested in watching the show. Share the link out, smash the like button, and I need you to make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can be tapped in, and make sure you hit the bell as well so you can be notified each and every time we drop a video. I'm going to drop this song, and then we're going to get back to the show. All right, family?
You don't tell the white man that you're willing to go back and cut no underbrush. We already did that once. If we have to do it again, that's not progress. Hell no. Get out of the cities and the towns that we helped you build. Go and find some other state to move in. You move out, we move in. Now wait a minute. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, that's a pipe dream. Well, damn, you better put it in your pipe then.
400 years we've been lacking reactive. Ain't no more lacking reactive. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reactive. Ain't no more lacking reactive. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. The youth don't need a stunt double. Introduce them to the real thing. Gotta tell them about the hidden hand. Real talk, that's the real bang. Introduce you to the white man. Think you made it, that's the real pain. Then I let you see a white snake and you can't see they the same thing. Get your bread, yeah, build your business. Hidden hand in the same lane. Keep a slaves in a small cell. Tell a young nigga bang bang. Shoot first, ask questions later. Two brothers in the same game. Fuck that like fuck crack. Big dog like a Great Dane. 400 years we've been lacking reactive. Ain't no more lacking reactive. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more traffic.
What's going on, Sister Felicia?
These niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reactive.
Man, thank you to everybody who subscribed.
Standing up now, we up at it, we at you.
Everybody who liked and shared.
Stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years in a living hell. Break chains, gotta break free. Do for self like Elijah said. Fire him before he fire me. Eat good,
He the man of God.
Ain't falling for the
Vaccine.
Up late, playing, plotting freedom. Still building, no
Caffeine.
Better tune in
to Farrakhan.
Cause this here
is a marathon.
Build now, getting real now.
Witness the fall of Babylon.
Black man, you the first man. Getting tricked by mankind. If we unite and rise up,
we'll win every damn time.
400 years we've been lacking reactive. Ain't no more lacking reactive. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more.
Yeah.
Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping.
Shout out to Brother Ben.
We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reactive. Ain't no more lacking reactive. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping.
Pay me for my pain, yeah, pay me for my tears. Pay me reparations for 400 years. All my people struggled and all my people fear. And now we coming, taking everything while we live this song.
All right, family. All right, welcome back. Like Mace, welcome back. Hold on, I want to put this link up in here so that we can let some more people know what we got going on. So, and also, family, if you want to be a part of the podcast community, then what you can do is, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, it says text podcast to 404-737-1030 to join the podcast community. Text the word podcast, just the word podcast, to 404-737-1030. You become a part of the podcast community text list. You'll get updates, you'll get clips, you'll get, information directly we're dealing with the podcast, direct links to the podcast, all of that kind of stuff via the text list, family. So you definitely want to make sure that you do that if you really enjoy the value that we give out here on the podcast, family. So praise belongs to Allah. All right, so what we want to do is slide on over to this other clip that I wanted to show y'all, where they was getting into some solutions based on what went on. So I want to do that, talk about some commentary, and then if possible I might open up the phone lines for those who want to come and share their thoughts and perspective on the situation as well. So let me go ahead and pull this screen up, and from here we will do some commentary, and then we'll probably open up the phone lines depending on what y'all got going on. So y'all listen to this as they talk about the situation that happened, but also there's a panel of black brothers who discuss solutions to this particular situation.
The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. One person is dead and another arrested after a deadly encounter at a Little League football game just outside of Dallas this weekend. Police in Lancaster say one of the coaches, 42-year-old Mike Hickman, was allegedly shot and killed by 39-year-old Yaqub Talib. He is the brother of former NFL star Aqib Talib, who was at the game when the shooting occurred. Now, investigators say all hell broke loose after coaches, officials, and some parents got into a fight near the end of the football game.
No, man, it's over, bro. No, we wrong for that shit, bro. Please, no. This is respect each other. We wrong for that shit, man. Say, bro, we wrong for that shit.
Just a horrible situation. You heard the gunfire there. Tonight, we gathered our panel to address this tragic situation.
Just a tragic situation. So Judge Joe Stevens, former NFL, former NBA player, your thoughts on seeing this kind of behavior on a Little League football team, on the field where the kids are playing?
Absolutely mortified. I mean, those kids, especially his son, watched his father die. I've said it for a long time, being around Little League sports myself as an athlete, and now having a All-American golfer and my daughter who's getting ready to go to Texas A&M. I think they should ban parents from Little League sports. And I'm adamant about this, from baseball to football, basketball to golf. The only time I see mayhem at these games is when the parents get involved. By and large, the kids get along. There's a lot of camaraderie amongst kids, and really that's what it's all about, right? But I think what you have is you got a bunch of parents who probably played JV as a senior, who weren't athletes themselves, and they're living vicariously through these kids. And I mean, you're shooting that Little League game. I mean, how do emotions get that high?
Right.
I mean, we're not playing for money. You had to pay to participate in this. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous. And I hope they throw the book at Talib.
Incredible. So, Delrick Sanker, you are president of the Steers, and also you're in Fort Bend County, where, of course, Little League sports, huge there. When you saw this video of a coach being gunned down at a game with parents going crazy and fighting on the field, your thoughts?
I was mortified, honestly. I was.
So the consensus here, as many people see, as most of us see, the consensus here is, that we have to try to understand really what was the motivating factor. What is the motivating factor behind a lot of these situations? Because even though somebody might not have been shot, there were people that get into fights, people that cause arguments, people that cause disturbances, all type of stuff like that. And it's the parents, as the brother said, as the judge said, it's the parents. It's not the children. It's not the coaches. It's not the refs. It's the parents fighting with coaches, fighting with refs, fighting with each other because of their emotional investment and attachment. So what are some solutions? Well, the judge said he believed that parents should be banned from Little League games. Hey, drop your child off. You can sit in the car, but you cannot be at the game. And that's a tough one because nobody wants to play and not have their parents there to cheer them on, right? So it's a whole lot that we got to think about before you say, well, just ban the parents from the games. Because if you ban the parents from the games, who we playing for? You know what I mean? Who gonna be in the stands? Because that's who really in the stands are parents. Parents and family members of those who are participating in the game. So if you ban the parents, then who you playing for? It's a scrimmage at that point. You and the other team and the coaching staffs. This is just a scrimmage. There's nobody there. There's no fans. There's no nothing. So who is going to be there in the stands if you don't have the parents? So it's a lot. So I want to just bring this back up, bring brother back up. Let's hear what he got to say. Because this brother is, Delrick Sanker is the president of a Little League football team in Texas too. So let's hear his perspective.
Was taken aback, and it made me think about school shootings and Walmart shootings and everything, and gun control. That's the first thing I thought about. I don't know how else we could protect our children, whether it's at school, playing a sport that they love, or just grocery shopping at Walmart. I have no idea on how to do it. I pray every day, but seeing it and me being over a Little League team, and I'm over all these boys and girls, and it makes me feel helpless that I can't even protect these kids because there's a lot of crazy and evil, whatever you want to say. There's a lot of elements out there that are beyond my protection. That's the first thing I thought about is my own kids.
And Delrick, you've always been concerned about overzealous parents out there. You have put some measures in place when it comes to your team and when you guys are playing. Tell us about that.
We always have a police officer on premises at all times. That's mandatory. And I'm with the Fort Bend Youth League, so we always have EMTs on. It's just like going to any kind of high school game. We always have that. A lot of these Little League teams don't have that. So when you have no officer in place, things like this happen, And basically, a lot of people carry guns.
And is it unfortunate that you have to do all of that?
Yeah, I was gonna say. See, I don't even remember when we used to play Little League. It wasn't like I don't remember no police being at our game. Not on no security for the game type thing. Like if the police came, it was because the police officer had a child that was participating in the sport and he came in his uniform. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as far as security for the game, EMTs, maybe it was an EMT because, just in case somebody got hurt. I mean, you playing football, so, there's an opportunity for somebody to get hurt. You can't break an arm or a leg, or, all of that kind of stuff. So I can definitely see EMTs being there. But as far as the police being there, I don't remember that growing up. And I played a lot of Little League football and basketball, and I just don't remember that growing up. So this is just crazy where now leagues have to have EMTs and, you know what I'm saying? Like police that's mandatory and to be there for security purposes and stuff like that. It's mind blowing to say at the least. Because this is a place where people should be safe. This is where children should be safe. And you think about it, he mentioned it. Walmart, grocery stores, schools. What is going on I know what's going on, but we're in a place now where none of these places are safe. People would go and take their families to the grocery store as an outing on Saturday and on Sundays after church, right? You go to the grocery store Saturday morning, get up, clean up, go to the grocery store, right? So this is the place where you take your family. Now grocery stores are being shot up. Schools are supposed to be a safe place where you send your children. The teachers are there. It's supposed to be a learning environment. You're supposed to interact and mingle with people your age. But we know, dating back as far as Columbine, of police shootings. School shootings. So we know, dating back as far as Columbine, of school shootings where people, students or people that don't go to school, decide to come into these places and start killing people. It's not safe. Now, another safe haven, which is the Little League football field, is a place where murder takes place. Where you cannot now bring your family and have a family time, have a outing, be able to fellowship with other parents and coaches and, friends of your children, all of that different type of stuff that happens, the camaraderie, the things that are built on the relationships that are created at Little League football games, and the sense of community, the sense of, of everybody coming together is now all thrown out the window because people decided they want to fight, argue, cuss, physical fight, and now shoot and kill at these events. It's getting crazy out here. It's getting crazy, family.
And it's a big cost, and it's it's mandatory though. So when we play teams, or I hear other leagues that don't have that, it's not even an option in our league. You got to have security. That's first and foremost. And it's just ridiculous that you have to take those measures at a Little League football game on a Saturday morning. But as you guys can see, it's necessary.
And you have had to deal with parents who go too far when it comes to their children. How do you even handle that?
I mean, it's the same way you can ask the teachers that, you can ask anybody that deal with kids. It's not the easiest thing. And like the judge said, some of these parents put these pressures on these kids like they're going to the NFL right out of Little League, so
exactly.
It's almost impossible, man. We haven't came up with a solution, and that's why I'm here, hoping I'll get some kind of suggestions to bring back to my league and to my team, because this is definitely on everybody's agenda this morning.
And Kyle, what's the latest with Yaqub Talib? He has been arrested, right? Or turned himself in?
Yeah, he turned himself in. Everybody knew he was involved with the shooting. They saw and witnessed that he had the 5 shots that rang out at the park. But I think what was really telling was the fact that he flew away from the scene. He couldn't be found for overnight, but they knew it was him, and he knew that he was a part of the whole incident. To think now that you have a coach that was well respected, admired by a whole lot of people, and now he has a widow, and he has 2 kids that are now without their father. But the concern I have is that Talib was a coach. He was a coach, and he had a gun in a setting that was around kids, and it just didn't have any place for it. And now we're talking about this situation, and it's an unfortunate one.
And Judge, do you think it's likely, and I want to get Delrick to talk about this, do you think it's likely to ban parents from these games? Drop them off, either sit in your car or go home, and then come back afterwards and pick them up. We'll give you a videotape.
I got the idea because in San Diego, that's what they do at junior golf tournaments. Your parents drop you off, you play your 18 holes. The parents, when the kids have a ruling, they work it out amongst themselves. And they have maybe 1 or 2 events a year where the parents can attend.
That's golf.
Little League sports is supposed to be about honor, integrity, sportsmanship. If you lose, you look your opponent in the eye, you shake his hand, you tell him good job, you go back home and you get better, and you come back and try to win next week. To have someone die at a Little League game. You kind of saw this coming, right? You see the Instagram.
Yeah. We've seen all the videos. We've seen the parents' behavior in the past.
It was just a matter of time before this happened. And I've got a friend, we chat back and forth on IG, and I'm like, you can see it building, and now it's finally happened. And I'm telling you, man, it's got to change. And to me, the solution is take the parents out of the equation.
And we'll have more on this discussion after the break.
So, in that conversation, family, they talking about different solutions, right? They talking about how, I don't know, bro. He might make a public statement. I mean, he might make a public statement again. He really just caught up. He just caught up because this happened to be his family. He's the biggest name out of everybody, right? So of course, just to draw in people and to get people to watch and to watch the video, they're gonna use his name. Once they found out it was his family, they're gonna use his name as a draw, right? Even though he didn't have nothing to do with it, he didn't have anything to do with it whatsoever. He wasn't, from what we know now, he wasn't even involved in the physical altercation of it. But they just know he was there. So of course, him being the biggest name, they're gonna use his name in the media, throw his name out there. So I guess his lawyers will advise him on what he should do, things he should say, and etc. But it's just a bad situation all the way around. So what they talking about now is, do you ban the parents from participating or being at the Little League game? And it's like, well, the example that Judge used was something that he took from golf, Little League golf, which is a totally different sport than football, basketball, where you have, baseball, hockey, where you have fans who are there cheering you on. But in golf, you got people that watch. You have people that spectate, but it's different. Matter of fact, Little League golf is not even, just keeping it 100. That's not something that's prevalent in our community. Not right now. And, advanced civilization, maybe so. But right now, in this current condition, we talking about football, we talking about basketball. Them the only two little leagues that we talking about, football and basketball. And at football and basketball, you have to have fans. And the parents are the biggest fans of their children. So I don't know how that's going to work. But we do have to figure out what's really going on. Because at the end of the day, parents are being emotionally invested to the point where they willing to kill somebody is just out of hand. You should never be that emotionally involved where you lose your ability to think logical. You lose your ability to think logical, and now you commit these type of acts that affect not only yourself, but affect the football teams that are involved, affect the parents, affect just so many people. So it says that somebody said, Sister Felicia said, because of past child abuse, I would not want to be involved in my child's Little League. See, it's so many different factors that go into this, honestly. It's so many different factors that go into this. And like I said, the biggest thing is that this involved two coaches. So football and Little League football in particular is a mechanism in place that's used to take our children out the streets. So how does the mechanism that's used to take our children out the streets become the same grounds for violence and trauma that we was just trying to get them away from? We're trying to get the children out of the streets, away from the gangs, away from the guns, and away from the violence. And that same guns and violence finds its way to the place that we wanted a sanctuary for safety, for accountability, for growth, and for maturity, and for those lessons that young boys need when it comes to growing up and being a man. How does it now creep its way back into the sanctuary that we had labeled as a safe haven? How does that happen? And it happens why? Because the coach, one who's responsible for the mentorship of the children, decides to bring a weapon to a game. And then not only decides to bring a weapon to the game, but use a weapon on a fellow coach. This is what we got going on. This is really good. This is what we got going on. I really don't think the incident had anything to do with a child. I don't either. Because he was too aggressive. He was too ready to pull out the gun. He was too ready. He was like, I'm just looking for an opportunity. Because if you look at the video, the coach was on the ground. He had been knocked on the ground and was kind of stumbling back. And then he had stood up. And it was like, how many people was in front of him? About 8, 9, 10 people in front of him. So he wasn't going to be able to, he was at the disadvantage. And then that's when the gunman came up and pulled the trigger. Not once to harm or to warn, not twice, but multiple times as if he had a point to prove. Multiple times as if he had a point to prove. So we got to think about this. Really, the behavior of the parents that contribute to this environment, and then the actions of the coaches who are supposed to be entrusted with the mentorship and the safety of the children are the ones right in the middle of this particular action. So overall, this situation has been a trauma-filled incident that has affected so many people across the board that really is going to require so much therapy for all of those children that was out there. So much therapy for all the parents. I don't even know how football in that particular city, in Lancaster, with those particular teams, I don't even know how you move forward after something like this. I don't know how you move forward because as much as we talk about the parents who were an intricate part, ultimately it boiled down to it being two coaches, right? So how are you able to separate two? Because it wasn't a parent that shot the coach. So parents can cook back and say, hey, but we didn't shoot the coach. We started the fight, but we didn't shoot the coach. Well, that's true. Coaches are supposed to know a little bit more and be a little bit more better behaved than the parents. But ultimately, it was the coach that shot another coach. So what are we saying here? Creating more black trauma is what we're doing, though. Maybe there was some childish envy and jealousy and maybe prohibitive behavior. Yeah, Sister Felicia. I mean, I can see that. I could definitely see that. That was a conflict of interest to the shooter. I mean, there's so much that comes to play. That comes to mind when you talk about what it could have been. Because we don't know. We don't know what it could have been. It's so much that we could talk about. Will this affect participation in youth sports? That's a good question. That's a really, really good question. Will it affect participation in youth sports? Because you have parents who are going to look at this situation and say, you know what? I'm not putting my children in none of that. Because I don't have time for it. I'm not about to be out there fighting nobody. I damn sure ain't about to be out there getting shot at, and I'm not shooting nobody. So, and we're paying money for this. This is what the parents are paying money for. They're going to say, you know what? I'd rather just wait to let my child play in middle school. Let my child play high school. Let my child play in the school system where we don't have to be subject to this. Because right now, Little League football is looking real bad. Right now, it's looking real bad. That man may have wanted a conflict, the relationship with the other coach. Hey, I have no idea. So, it's a sad situation overall, and we have to think about what was given to us in study guide number 18. The minister's so wise in the teaching, boy. He gave us the study guides, and in study guide number 18, it talks about rising above emotion into the thinking of God. So where was the logical thinking in that particular situation? Because not only did you endanger the individual who you ultimately end up taking the life of, but you endangered both football teams, the opposing football staff, your staff, other parents, other children who were not a part of the players. Where was the thinking? And this is what gets me when it comes to black people, where we become so emotionally tied to things that we forget to think logically. Majority of our criminal activity, right? Like specifically murders and manslaughter, all of that stuff is rooted out of our inability to check our emotions. We don't have a lot of premeditated murders outside of gang stuff. And even gang stuff is highly emotional and retaliatory. You know what I'm saying? Like, we swing the band, we see the ops, we spray down the block, we hit one of their people. Now it's high emotion, retaliatory, we come back. You see what I'm saying? It's more like territorial type of stuff. Boom, somebody get hit. Oh, our man's got hit. We got to go back and retaliate. High emotion, retaliatory. So even with that, it's high emotion and retaliatory. Not necessarily premeditation where we sat back and I waited 2 weeks and I said, oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to catch him at the store slipping X, Y, and Z. Not, we have it. Don't get me wrong. We have it. But it's not at a high level. Majority of the criminal cases that we have that take place come out of spontaneous, unchecked emotional behavior. That's just real rap. Somebody step on your shoes, y'all get into an argument. Inside the club, somebody spilled the drink, it spill outside into the parking lot, somebody go to the trunk, somebody get shot. That's exactly how I roll. It's not nothing that's premeditated, pre-planned, not the way white folks do. You know, when they want to kill their spouse for cheating or for stealing all their money and doing all that kind of crazy stuff, you know, they sit back and they plot and plan the murder, trying to get the insurance money. They do all that. We don't even be thinking about none of that. It literally be spur of the moment stuff that happened with us. So we have to really, really look at what the minister gave us in study guide number 18, which is rising above emotions into the thinking of God. Because when you're able to check those emotions, when something happened and the first thing you want to do is become emotional, you have to hold yourself together and you got to think about all of the different pieces that's a part of this situation. What's going to happen if I react this way? Who else is going to be affected if I react this way? It's not only about you. And that's the problem. We become so selfish in our thinking that we believe it's all about us. So our emotions only affect us and the person that we projecting on, when in real life, the emotions not only affect us or the person that we projecting on, but everybody that's connected to us and everybody that's connected to the person who's receiving, who's on the receiving end, the recipient of your emotions. That's just real. That's real. So what the minister was telling us, that we have to rise above emotion into the thinking of God so that we can make the best decisions possible. We can make the best choices. We can keep ourselves out of situations like this that will not allow us to throw our life away. Because that's all this brother did, was throw his life away. If he is, we got to say if, got to say allegedly, right? Because we don't have no actual facts. So allegedly, and if he did commit this crime, brother threw his life away. All for no reason at all, because he had the inability to keep his emotions in check. Because even if the parents are out there fighting and doing all that kind of stuff, you don't got to get involved in that. You don't have to be involved in that. Every action causes a reaction. That's right. Every action has an equal or greater reaction. That's real. That's real talk. So I pray that we was able to elaborate on this, and we might do some other platforms where we are able to give some more insight, some perspective. Make sure that you text the word podcast to 404-737-1030 to join the podcast community. Want you to be a part of the community because I send out the direct link to the podcast. If we got to change a platform, if we bring a special guest on, you have the opportunity to become interactive when you're on the text thread, because you receive information directly from me right then and there. We communicate through that text thread. So it's a beautiful thing to get on. And we growing over on YouTube. We over here on YouTube. We don't stream on Facebook with this particular platform right now. So we're still growing. So what I want you to do is hit that like button, make sure that you subscribe, and then make sure that you hit the bell so you can stay notified each and every time that we drop a video. All right, family? So I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. This sounds like a buildup of anger over time. Absolutely. It could very well possibly be that. So we can't rule anything out. Again, we don't know all the intimate details between these two. You know, but at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, we civilized, we human beings. We the glory of God. We are the highest manifestation of God's creation. We are not animals in the field. We don't have to fight and kill one another when we have disagreements. We don't have to do that. God gave us wisdom, gave us knowledge, gave us a brain, gave us the ability to reason. And in that ability to reason, part of the reason is I'm not going to take my brother's life or my sister's life over an argument or a dispute that we have. We can agree to disagree, you know, but we don't have to take one another out in order to prove a point or in order to get what it is that we have in our hearts across to the other party. So I pray this was valuable. And man, we may do some more shows because I'm gonna reach out. I know some different youth people, right? Some different youth football coaches who may want to weigh in and get some firsthand knowledge on what they've seen and you know what the parents' behavior and what are some of their ideas as far as solutions or some of the things that they may be implementing in their leagues that help keep it safe to try to de-escalate and to try to mitigate a lot of what you see going on, family. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. May Allah continue to bless you and your families. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
You know. Not your average nigga, I'm a guy out the hood. They can't downplay me. I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them.